Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys. So like I said in the last video, if you missed that, it's the end of the month. And you guys already know that a bitch is about her coins. That's why you guys are getting this a little early, just in case you didn't see the last one. Let's see. What are we going to start off with today? Well, let's talk about the government shutdown because that is still ongoing. It is still ongoing. It's about to be the longest shutdown that this country has ever experienced. The last government shutdown that we had was when YSAP was in office. Like, I don't know why people don't see a pattern here, you guys. And of course, the Republicans are still blaming the Democrats and saying that it's our fault. I don't even know if I consider myself a damn Democrat at this point. I'm so sick of every... Okay, I might have to cut that off. It's too early in the video, but I'm so sick of everyone that but you know, the Republicans are blaming the Democrats. The Democrats don't have the power to do anything anymore. I mean, they can dig their heels in and create stalemates and things like that. But for the most part, if YSAP wanted to go into, not for the most part, he can. If he wanted to go and push the button and let these people, this government shutdown stop, and you know, everybody start getting their checks and all of that, food stamps. Okay, if he would just make that happen, he could do that. But he won't do that because he's too busy tearing down the White House and sending money all over the fucking world and using our tax dollars for bullshit, and then, you know, demanding that the DOJ pay him all this money. I mean, just foolishness over there. So, but, yeah, you guys, it's such a sad situation that people are about to lose their SNAP benefits. You know, I just, I want to know the people that voted for YSAP. Like, I really want you to explain to me, my rock stars that are YSAP supporters. Y'all be nice to the YSAP supporters in the comments. I want somebody to explain to me if you still support the things that this man is doing, which he is just completely just turned on his own people. Say what you want about how this country was operating before. I mean, people were still getting paid and getting their checks. Like, this man does not care enough, their own government, to care enough about their constituents, like, you know, to make sure that they are at least fed. I mean, you can say that people relied on the government and everything, but this is how you handle it. You just cut the shit off like this, and people are just gonna be hungry. We going into the cold months. We going into the holiday months. And you fucking with people's money and their food, you know, but that's what they want to happen. And it's definitely by the book, Project 2025 that they said was not a thing, but he's pretty much checking the list off, you know. Very, very, very upsetting. This morning when I was listening to the radio again on Young Jock, they had Jasmine Crockett on there, and she was just talking about, you know, there's a lot of confusion that people have with the, that people are having with the, oh, it's a little squirrel running across, that people are confused about what's going to happen with these food stamps. Like, is it that the people won't get their benefits as of November 1st? Or, you know, like, some people get them monthly, and apparently they have some people that get them according to their names or something like that, their last names or something. So people are trying to figure out, are they going to get that payment, or, you know, all this. And apparently she said as of November 1st, there will be no more money put into anything else. So November 1st is the cut. Well, the 31st at midnight or 11:59 is the cut. Then after that, nothing else happens. If you have money on your EBT card, you know, that won't be removed, because that's what some people have been hearing too, that they're going to take that off of their card. And she was like, no, that won't happen. There will still be their money on the card, but, you know, until everything gets back up running, you know, you can count on not getting any more money. Now, apparently, there is, USDA has like some sort of contingency pot that they could actually take this money from that pot to use to pay the SNAP benefits. Like, that's a reserve that they've had for instances like this. Well, not necessarily a government shutdown, but if some shit ever happened and they knew that people in their country was going to be starving, they would be able to push that button and release that money. And YSAP has the power to do that, but he hasn't done that because, again, he don't care about that, you know. It's scary. It's scary because I was just like my girl Brandy said today. She was just like, even if people on EBT are being affected like this, it still messes with other things, because if you can't buy food, if you don't have money to buy food, then the grocery stores, the farmers, the grocery stores don't have the, you know, people are not buying the groceries, and then the farmers that farm and supply these grocery stores, they're not getting their stuff is being bought either, so the farmers get affected. Like, it is a trickle down for everything. They are breaking down this country, just breaking it down slowly but surely, because he wants to make sure that everybody is so off and don't have nothing that they'll have to listen to him, because everybody is going to be like, you know, it's so sad. It's so sad that they put, so that's why I want the YSAP supporters, I want you guys to explain to us, like, why do you think that you believe that it's okay to have people starving, people not having access to their health care? Like what exactly? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, for this country to supposed to be the land of liberty and all of that, like, I just do not understand it. And I want a YSAP supporter to really explain that to me. And if you're okay with the things that have been happening in this country, you know. Anyway, child, I'm gonna get off of it, because every time I try to appeal to somebody like that, y'all go off on me. And, you know, some of y'all ones that don't like you know, the Democrats, y'all just go on and on and on and shit. And I don't really care one way or the other. I mean, not that I don't care, but I just, oh, bitch, see, I'm getting hot. This sweater is cashmere and it is very warm. Very, very warm. And let me just cool off for a minute here. All right, you guys, but that's it on politics. We gonna move on from there. Let's get to the gossip and the bullshit. All right, you guys, Clarissa Shields. Oh, that girl makes it so hard. So hard. Well, I've just decided that I don't like her. But I've been trying to give her a chance for a long time, because, you know, it was hard stepping into that whole Papoose situation and her and Remy Ma and all that. You know, I know that there's many, many sides to a story and all that. So I didn't really try to pick a side on that situation. I mean, I kind of felt a way about it, but I tried to just leave it alone and be like, that's a lover's quarrel triangle over there and they working their shit out. Okay. But this shit with Laila Ali, like, I'm just like, girl. Like, she obviously revels in being a villain, but I think that people that stay being villains for a long time, like, that wears on them. We've seen so many people that love to be villains, but eventually they get tired of that shit, you know, and something happens and then they kind of regret being that way. So I feel like she's going to eventually see that she been tripping and shit, but that Clarissa, what is wrong with her? I was like, what is wrong? She ain't all, like, she is just a little different. Now, this beef that she's created with Laila Ali and herself, I just, you know, I was starting to wonder if it really was Laila Ali. Now, I don't know Laila Ali personally, but I actually have some friends that are a part of a friend group that she's actually a part of. And they've talked, and I've talked to people, you know, I've talked to them and they was like, she's cool, she's down to earth, she's normal, you know, all of that. So that's always been the impression that I've got of Laila Ali. Even when I've seen her, you know, she seems like she's a reserved woman, but of course that she, you know, she just seems cool and normal, you know. Of course she was a boxer back then, so we know how boxers move and act and all of that. So, you know, I know there's a whole braggadociousness about, you know, being a rapper. It's kind of like being a rapper. Did I say a rapper? I know it's a braggadociousness of being a boxer, okay? And maybe even more so for women, because women for a long time was never respected in the sport, you know, and Laila Ali is the one who brought the attention to the sport and actually we could actually see that it wasn't just some old heifers in the damn ring, you know, throwing their arms around. Like, this motherfucker was really fighting, you know, and at that time it was too bad because there wasn't as much competition, and because there wasn't that many, you know, weren't that many people that was doing it still. Probably today it would be really something to see Laila Ali, you know, if she was in her prime and young back then and fighting and all of that. So I've always liked Laila Ali for as much as I've known her. I don't really know much about her other than what my friends have told me, and also that she, you know, is the daughter of Muhammad Ali, who we respect and loved. So we respected and loved her, and there was no reason for us not to. This shit with Claressa Shields, you know, now that Laila Ali done put out the full presentation, you know, she actually did I watched the whole presentation of how her and Claressa Shields came to know each other, and how she was kind of a mentor to her at first. And, you know, she was always big up in her, and, you know, saw the promise in her and would shout her out all the time and say, like, she's the one to watch and all of this. And then Clarissa apparently there was an interview that she did on the Breakfast Club, and she said something like, you know, something along the lines of, you know, nobody can beat me, you know, like, this is what boxers do. And for whatever reason, and actually, I don't even think that Laila was trying to say anything about Clarissa. She was just talking. Clarissa took it personally and felt like she was talking about her. And it just went from there. Clarissa has always felt since then that Laila Ali, you know, sneak disses her or says things and, you know, don't respect her and is a mean girl and all of this stuff. You know, I did see the whole presentation that Clarissa did as well, where she's trying to act like a reporter and she's talking about her, you know, some of the problematic things that Laila Ali has said in the past and all, you know, trying to play the race card, trying to play the Black Lives Matter, even though I didn't like that she said all lives matter, because when I hear all lives matter, I hear that Black lives don't matter. Like, that is just, it's a little trigger for me. So I did have a little issue with her saying that, but still, for the most part, you know, for the most part, I like and respect Laila Ali. And I've been trying with Clarissa, child. I've been trying, but the girl is just, she's just so weird too, you know, and but after finally watching Laila Ali's full presentation, it finally made sense that Clarissa is just stuck in this. Now, her name got big. Now, from what I understand, I've never seen Clarissa fight, but they say that this bitch can fight. Okay, so I'm not trying to reduce nothing that Clarissa can do. Okay, she didn't get to where she is by being getting her ass beat. So she, you know, I'm not trying to say that this girl can't fight and that she's not a champion fighter and all of this. I don't know if she's won a championship or not, because I don't follow boxing anymore. But so the girl actually has the talent. Laila has even said it herself. But this damn, her mentality and her feeling like, I don't know, like, I just feel like, why do you want to come after a person that's so well respected in your craft? Like, instead of just letting it go, even if you felt that way, but for you to have to continue to put yourself out there and talk about it, like, it's not a good look. But, you know, it's like young people, I don't know how old Claressa Shields is. Like, she's younger than me, so I always say young people. She looks like she's in her 30s. Or, yeah, she looks like she might be in her 30s. They have this thing where they feel like anytime somebody says something about them, that they feel like we're coming after you. Well, really, I'm just talking about my experiences and what I know as a fucking 50-something-year-old woman. You know, I'm just trying to impart some wisdom on you. Now, you can take it or you can leave it. But for you to get offended and feel like somebody is coming for you, which I never felt like. Now, of course, now that they've had some words and shit and they've been going back and forth, now I can see why Laila would say some slick shit. And she might have said some things, because you can only take so much. But I was just like, Clarissa, this is just not the look. It's not the look. Some young younger, you know, people who are elevated in their craft and are at a status like Claressa Shields are, instead of them like reveling in that, they always feel like the older generations are like not understanding, and that you guys are trying to, like, we trying to come for you, and that just don't be how it is. That just is not how it is. But that's kind of how Clarissa feels, and I just like, girl, did I say Fields? I hope I didn't say Clarissa Fields. I said Claressa Shields, right? Y'all got me all nervous and shit talking here, but I just feel like Clarissa is smelling herself, which at some level as a boxer, you should be able to be that way too. But why you can't drop this shit with Leila? That's what I'm saying. Like, talk your shit and everything, but can you just leave that alone? I mean, I guess she can't. And I guess you won't. Now, do I want to see them fight? No, I do not want to see them fight. Because I don't think... Now, Leila says that she still trains all the time and that she could beat her ass. Like, she says that. I don't want to see that tested. Okay, because you went out as a great and everything, and it would be so much even worse if you got up in that stage and then Clarissa beat your ass. Okay, now Leila still looked like a pretty strong, strapping young lady, so you know I can see that. You know, it would be a fight up there. Now, Leila used to swing her ass off. Remember how hard them hits used to be? Them ladies would be looking like they got their marbles knocked out. Nigga, all the Sonic coins, you know. So, I mean, it would be something, but I would not want to see something like that happen because we would never be able to shut Clarissa up then. So, don't even give her the chance, you know. Just stay, girl, you the legend. We respect you. And I just want Clarissa to either drop it or let's move on, sis. Like, I want you to be able to have that respect as a legend when you, and you might still, but not as the bad guy. Why people want to be the bad guy? That shit it can't be fun, and it's not sustainable. Shit. So anyway, that's that on that. Y'all done talked about that long enough. Let's move on to the next story. They say that Puffy, your boy Puffy, mama named him Sean John Combs. They say that he escaped a jail stabbing while he was asleep in his cell. Apparently, they said that somebody was coming to warn him about something. But so there was an inmate, because he's still in the detention center in Brooklyn. There was an inmate who... oh my God, I have my AirPod in. I hope it is recording everything. Anyway, there was an inmate that was on his way to the cell, or in his direction anyway, and then one of the guards stopped him and he had a shank. So now Puffy's team is saying that, you know, it's not safe there, and they probably trying to get him moved. I don't know if this story has been vetted and if it is like a real story, but I mean, I saw it on yahoo.com, I think it was. So, but they're saying that they let them know, like, he's not safe there. They're not able to keep him safe, and that they're probably trying to get him moved. I mean, I would try to get him moved out of there too, because I heard that place is awful. And they say that, you know, people get brownie points if they could affect him or hurt him while he's there. So, you know, maybe trying to get him moved out of that place. I mean, I guess. They also are saying that Puffy is going to be, if everything, what's the saying? If the sun don't rise, if the creek don't rise and the sun sets or whatever, they say when it's all said and done, old boy is due to get out of prison on May 8th of 2028. I said, damn. Nigga, I know we almost at 2026, but that still is a long fucking ways away. Do you know how sad I would be if I knew I had to be in jail for 2-3 more? Even though it wasn't enough time maybe, but shit. If I was looking at 2.5 more years in jail, bitch, that would feel like 20 fucking years. So yeah, they're saying that he's probably going to be in there unless he gets out early or unless some other shit go down. You know, he'll be there until 2020. Because 2028, that shit still sound like 2030. And that shit sound far away. So, I mean, hey, you did what you did. Okay, the judge thought it was fair to give you 50 months and whatnot. So, I mean, I guess, but damn, 2028. Okay. All right. What y'all think about that stabbing story? Do you think that's just them trying to get him out of jail? Or do you think that Puffy's, or moved to a lower security, more, easier place. Y'all let me know what you think about that, and let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, here's a good feel-good story. They say DDG, Daniel Granberry. I don't know why that boy's name sticks in my head. I can't remember shit, but I can. Isn't it Daniel Granberry? And Halle Bailey. They worked out their differences, and at least temporarily, they have dropped the domestic violence restraining orders that they had on each other, and they've worked out a whole visiting thing, custody, visiting with the kid. He's going to have the little boy on Wednesdays and certain weekends. They've looked at the schedule, looked at a calendar, and mapped out holidays and who was going to get the baby what and when, and they all agreed on that, and so it looks like things are going well. They say that DDG had put out a song that was called 17 More Years, and that was kind of him trying to, extend the olive branch of friendship, saying that he don't want to fight no more, and that he, even says that she's a good mom and all of that, So it looks like they was able to get the emotions out the way. I think that both of them have moved on to other people. So a lot of times, when you're trying to get over a motherfucker, you get up underneath another one, and then that other one you don't even think about no more. So maybe they are both there. And that's good, because at the end of the day, we trying to do what's right for the baby, right? So yeah, they've agreed that they're not going to talk about each other in social media or in public places. They're not going to immediately wanting to be going, which is going to be, it might be a little bit harder for DDG, because he streams and stuff, so he is very available to his fans and stuff, so he's gonna have to watch what he says. If there is a time where he's frustrated or something, he's gonna have to learn how to hold his tongue. We don't see her as much maybe on her social media and stuff, so she'll have to do the same. But yeah, you guys, so that's good. They were able to work it out. I was hoping so. They have a lot of support in both of their families. So, well, actually, I think DDG has a lot of support in his family. I don't know so much about the Bailey family, because I've heard that those girls don't even really talk to their parents and stuff, and there's drama. I don't remember the story per se, but I do kind of remember reading that. So, but a lot of times when you have like elders or people around you that are grown and try to give you advice and shit, if you were reared to listen to your parents, at least sometimes, I feel like maybe DDG's mom and family probably had to be in his ear, and maybe she had some people on her side that was being in her ear, and they kind of was able to work it out. Because again, at the end of the day, who is it for? The kid. All right, so that's good news. And let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, they say your boy Paul Pierce. Now, we found out the other day that he had got arrested on suspicion of a DUI. At least I have read that story, or saw that they said that he had fallen asleep in his car, but I didn't read much more about it. But now I was able to get the full story. So apparently he was on the highway in LA in traffic, as there will always be traffic in LA. This was in the evening. This was at nighttime. And he fell asleep. This was on October 7th. Did I say the time? Anyway, he was sitting in traffic, and he fell asleep, dozed off while he was in traffic. So either somebody saw him and called the police, or the police saw him themselves, or, somehow the police ended up pulling him over. He was in his Range Rover. And, after they did, the sobriety test, he was over 0.08 of the alcohol limit. So, yeah, they went on and arrested him. He got 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol and 1 count of driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or higher. They said that when the police had pulled him over, he tried to joke around and say that, he's an old man at 45 years old, and that, that was the reason that he fell asleep, that he was just tired. But they was like, no, they could see that he had been drinking. So they did the test, and that's how he ended up getting arrested. So he's supposed to go to court sometime in November, but he bailed or bonded out, whatever the word is. Y'all, somebody tell me which one is it? Is it bonded or bailed out? Because isn't there a difference with the two? But anyway, he's out free and everything. I have a feeling that Paul Pierce don't care. He just gives me I don't give a fuck attitude, energy all the time. So, I mean, there's that. I guess Paul is over there living his life. Maybe he should not drink and drive while he's living it, because he's lucky that he just fell asleep and the car wasn't rolling. What if he would have fallen asleep and could have killed himself or somebody else, you guys? So you're gonna learn one way or the other. Folks gonna stop all this drinking and driving. All right, but anyway, next story. Okay, your boy Sammy. Y'all don't really know much about Sammy. I know some of his songs, but I don't even know as much of his songs as I know, like, of Lloyd. But Sammy and Lloyd and Ray J and all them, they all came out at a time where I was not really fucking with none of them. Like, I knew of them and stuff, but I just was never interested in them. So Sammy, is Sammy the one that did Lay Your Head, or was that Lloyd? See, I don't even remember. But anyway, I don't really know their music. But I mean, of course I know who he is. They say the other day that he was arrested. So I was scrolling the other day and I saw that he was arrested. And that he faced third-degree cruelty to children, battery in the form of, child, let me get it right. He was arrested with and charged with third-degree cruelty to children, battery, and in the form of family violence, and fugitive in state. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm not a real rock star lawyer, but you guys can always correct me. But I think that we recently talked about a story where somebody was charged with third-degree cruelty to children, and we found out during that story, I don't remember who it was, but I think it was a lady, but we found out during that story that that charge is usually reserved for when the partners, like the husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, when they fight in front of the kids. So if the kids see it, they consider that cruelty to children, but you didn't physically hit or do anything to those children usually. I think that's what third degree cruelty to children is, but you guys can, like I said, my real rock star lawyers, you guys can let me know. So that led me to think that, okay, he must have been fighting with the girlfriend, baby mama, whatever she is. The kids had seen it, so he was charged for that. When I see battery, of course, that's fighting or hitting somebody. And then held in fugitive in state, that means that maybe he was blocking her from leaving. Okay, or she couldn't get out or something like that. So like, oh, no, not fugitive. No, that's not what that means. Fugitive in state means that he was kind of on the run, like they couldn't find him or shit. Maybe he had left and they was trying to find him and then they finally got him. So that was what I thought that those charges meant. Again, the real rock star lawyers can chime in. Now, the woman, I did not get her name, child. I'm sorry. But this is his child's mama. And she been posting from a fake page, even though she's saying that it is her from the fake page. I said, girl, you might as well post it from your real page if you gonna tell everybody that it was you that was posting it in the first place. What that had to do with anything? But anyway, she was posting videos and posting text messages and stuff talking about how he be beating her up and doing shit to her, and then he threatens her and tells her nobody gonna listen to her because she don't have a platform and people don't know her and love her, like him, and that she's not big enough to do anything to him and all of this, And like I said, I don't really know much about Sammy. I don't know nothing about his attitude, his personality, his character, anything like that. I mean, I guess nobody knows if you don't really know him, but like, I don't know anything about it. So that story, I can't weigh in one way or the other. Okay, you guys will have to let me know if Sammy has a history of wilding out and acting a fool and beating on his women and stuff like that, because I just don't know. I didn't see anything like that, though. When I was trying to do some research on maybe some shit that had happened with him before, I didn't see anything about him, getting into any kind of trouble. But I did see that recently he had posted a tweet that said, death is upon him real soon, but he wasn't ready, and that for everybody should pray for him. So, that's kind of a weird post. It almost sounded like it was, how people be posting something and then they'll tell you later what it meant and it'd be promotion for some shit or something. Like, so kind of had a weird, like, what exactly were you talking about? He didn't never expand on it. Nobody else said anything about it, so I didn't know what that meant. But I guess Sammy's been going through some things over there, and I guess that's about all I can tell you. But yeah, sis is mad, and she wants everybody to know that he's a woman beater and that he's done things to her and threatened her and made her feel like she couldn't do nothing. And she just wants everybody to know that he's a narcissistic liar, and you know how that goes. So I'm just going to reserve judgment until I see where this story goes, if anything else comes of it. He did put out a statement himself, and he said that, actually, I said it, I put it in my notes in layman's terms, but I'm going to tell you what he said. Hold on. He said that he's going to let God and the courts handle it, have their say, and the truth shall set him free. He said he love y'all, he appreciate y'all, and he thanks y'all for y'all concern. Love. Okay, so that's all that Sammy had to say on the matter, and he's just gonna let it play out in court. But you know, I was trying to look through the comments and trying to see what people were saying, and you know, I still wasn't able to. I just still don't know exactly what's going on over there. So, like I said, y'all, the people that know some shit about Sammy and this girl and their history, y'all can put it in the comments. All right, that's that on that, you guys. We gonna move on to the next story. Okay, you guys, actually, lastly, Brandon Ingram and Glorilla, child, I did not know that Glorilla had a man, like, and he's a basketball player, and I don't know these young basketball players no more. I don't know them no more, child. If they ain't from LeBron's generation, I don't know nobody else. LeBron was the last of the generation that I was watching of basketball players. So they got this whole new slew of kids playing basketball. He's a cute guy. You know, I love that for her. She looks like she's so happy. I did see her go to the game and fall. I was like, oh. But you know, it's so funny. It's Glorilla. Like, she's so much of a goober anyway, you know, that you know, it was still endearing just to see her fall and shit. You know, I'm sure it was embarrassing for her. But, you know, she got her ass up and sat down, and he went over there and gave her a kiss. And I was just like, look at this. This is so sweet, you guys. You know, Rocky loves love. But anyway, what's this I'm reading about them trying to, are they trying to put a little rift or something? What's happening with Glorilla and Meg Thee Stallion? Okay? Because I saw somebody posted that Glorilla had liked a post that said something along the lines that Meg Thee Stallion was mad that her album didn't do as well as Glorilla's album, and that there was like some jealousy there or something along those lines. And apparently Glorilla liked it. Okay? And I mean, you know, I've accidentally liked things, but you know, it's just, I just hope that's not what's happening, because we know they were touring together. You know, she was going on a lot of Meg Thee Stallion's dates and all of that. And I hope that's not what's happening. But I did see some foolishness with the hairstylist, because apparently Glorilla at that basketball game, she was there with her hairstylist. Which one is it? Is it Kalan or Kalan, and then EJ? And apparently Meg Thee Stallion used to go to the basketball games with her hairstylist, whichever one of them ones that I just told you was her hairstylist. And they trying to say that Glorilla was copying. And one of them was just like, since when can we go to the damn basketball game? And that's the same thing I'm thinking, like, are you guys really trying to pinpoint and say, oh, this girl is out there doing the same thing Meg did because she also went to the game with her hairstylist? Y'all make me so tired sometimes. Just so fucking tired, you guys. So, yeah, I guess that's part of it. But I'm just like, I really hope that this thing with Meg and Glow is not a real thing. Okay? It's hard to tell on social media. But you know how fast that shit can get picked up. And next thing you know, girls that used to be girls ain't girls no more. And them two got along. I just don't want to see that happening. Okay? And shout out to Meg. You know, my man, my baby, my baby. She love her some Clay, honey. It look like they gonna get married. I said, girl, that's your husband. That's your husband, child. I'm happy for her. Go on over there and have some little light-skinned babies. And be over there and make your food and do all of that, child. But yeah, that's it. That's that on that. I'm so glad I got this done, y'all. I love when I feel I accomplished my goals, you guys. October was a good month. All right, you guys, that's that on that. Let me get on up here back to my office, and I will get this edited and up to you guys tonight, fresh and early on Thursday morning. All right. So we do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you come back. next time, Roxstars.